Okay, let's go.
We've all got that one thing we'd love to learn, right? Maybe it's playing the guitar or finally learning Spanish. But then reality hits. Who on earth has the time? Well, what if I told you the biggest thing holding you back isn't your schedule? It's actually a myth. And today, we're going to bust that myth wide open and show you how to get, surprisingly good at pretty much anything in just 20 hours.
I am never going to have free time ever again. I mean, wow, that exact thought is what hit author Josh Kaufman right after his daughter was born. One minute, he's dreaming about all the cool new things he wants to learn, and the next, boom, he's a new dad and an entrepreneur. Suddenly, that dream feels totally impossible. I mean, we've all been there, right? That feeling like your life is just this overstuffed suitcase, and there's just no room to cram anything else in.
So, yeah, that feeling. That creates what we can call the no-time problem. It's this constant tug-of-war, isn't it? Between our ambition to, get better and learn new things, and just the sheer craziness of our daily lives. So the big question is, how do we solve this? How do we actually find the time to learn?
Well, Kaufman, facing this exact problem, decided he wasn't just going to accept it. He started digging into the research, trying to find a real, solid answer. What does it actually take to go from knowing absolutely nothing to being able to say, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this?
And what he found was this one number just popping up over and over and over again, 10,000 hours. Yeah, that number? It's the one that's become super famous in pop culture, right? This idea that to learn anything new, you have to sink this massive, almost impossible amount of time into it.
Okay, but to really get what 10,000 hours feels like, think about it this way. That's a full-time job for 5 years. Straight. When you hear it like that, it's no wonder so many of us just give up on learning something new before we even start. It just sounds completely impossible. But here's the thing. That whole 10,000-hour rule, it's basically a myth. Or to be more precise, it's a huge, huge misunderstanding of the original research. So let's break down where this idea actually came from.
Okay, so the whole 10,000-hour thing, it comes from the work of a guy named Dr. K. Anders Ericsson. And he was studying like the absolute elite, world-class musicians, chess grandmasters, top-tier professional athletes. His research had nothing to do with learning a fun new hobby. It was all about what it takes to reach the very, very top of an insanely competitive field.
Really, how this idea spread is like a classic game of telephone. It starts with the actual research, right? Super specific. 10,000 hours to become the absolute best in a competitive field. Then Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers comes along and simplifies it to it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. From there, pop culture just ran with it, watering it down to it takes 10,000 hours to get good at something. And finally, you end up with the myth we have today. It takes 10,000 hours just to learn something. And that's just not true. Not even close.
Okay, so if the 10,000-hour rule is out the window, what's the real story? What does the actual science say about how we learn stuff? Let's dive into the real learning curve. You know that feeling when you first start something new? It's just so frustrating, right? You're clumsy, you're making a ton of mistakes, and you just feel, you feel totally incompetent. And the worst part is, you know you're bad. It's painfully obvious.
But here's the really cool part that the research shows. Right after that super frustrating beginning part, we get better fast, like really fast. A little bit of practice at the start leads to these huge jumps in your skill level. And that rapid improvement keeps going until you hit a certain point, kind of like a plateau. And yeah, getting better from that plateau, that's when it starts taking a lot more time.
Which brings us to the real question most of us have. I mean, let's be honest. We're not trying to become the next Tiger Woods or Yo-Yo Ma. We just want to go from, I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing, to, hey, I can actually do this. So, how long does that take?
And the answer, according to all of Kaufman's research, is almost shockingly simple. Are you ready? 20 hours. That's it. Just 20 hours of focused, deliberate practice can take you from knowing nothing to being surprisingly good at almost anything you want to learn.
And just think about how manageable that is. 20 hours isn't some giant mountain you have to climb. It breaks down to about 45 minutes a day for a month. I mean, that's probably less time than most of us spend just mindlessly scrolling on our phones. It's a completely, totally achievable goal.
Now, of course, it's not just about mindlessly putting in 20 hours.
You can't just noodle around and expect results. There's a smart way to practice to get the most bang for your buck. Kaufman breaks it all down into a really simple 4-step method.
Okay, so first up, deconstruct the skill. Basically, break it down into the smallest possible pieces. Instead of trying to learn guitar, you learn one chord. Next, learn just enough so you can tell when you're making a mistake and fix it yourself. This is so important. Don't get stuck just reading about it forever. That's just procrastination in disguise. Third, and this is a big one, remove all the barriers to practice. Turn off the TV, put the phone away, whatever it takes to eliminate distractions. And finally, this is absolutely crucial. Pre-commit to practicing for at least 20 hours. You make that promise to yourself up front, and that's what will power you through that initial frustration barrier.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Well, Kaufman decided to put his own theory to the test. He picked something he'd always wanted to learn, the ukulele, and he documented his entire journey, his first 20 hours. So he started by deconstructing it, and he found this amazing shortcut. Most pop songs use the same few chords over and over. So instead of trying to learn every chord under the sun, he focused on just 4 essential ones: G, D, E minor, and C. And get this, with just those 4 chords, he could suddenly play literally hundreds of songs. And the craziest part? That performance he gives in his famous TEDx talk, that was him at the end of his 20th hour of practice. No joke.
And this really gets to the heart of it all, the single biggest barrier to learning something new. It's not about how smart you are, it's not intellectual, it's emotional. We're just scared. We're scared of feeling stupid. We hate that beginning phase where you're clumsy and you know you're not good at it yet. And that feeling right there is what stops most people dead in their tracks before they even really begin. So you see, the 20-hour rule is so much more than just a learning hack. It's like a license to be a beginner. It's giving yourself permission to be a little clumsy, to make mistakes, and to actually have some fun with it. It takes away the fear and just opens up this whole world of things you could learn. So I'll leave you with this one thought. What are you going to learn with your first 20 hours?